All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Friday's exciting edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for another resolution to the euro crisis.
Wow.
Nike's
Wow. I just wanted to just it's nuts, man. How many days in a row here? How many days or how many, we've been talking about this for 3 years. We're up 20 points in the S&P or we're down 20 points in the S&P, all on European headlines. Here we are. Yesterday's the end of the world. We're testing the 1300 level. 1 day later, oh, everything's good in Europe. We got an EU agreement. They're going to be able to give some money to some of these banks. Everything's good again. What the hell goes on in our markets?
Well, Dennis, it looks like someone had a little bit of an inkling yesterday when Merkel canceled the meeting that they were working on something. The market rallied off that news, continued overnight when the actual news came up. The S&Ps are really in the middle of nowhere here. No major resistance up to the June highs that we had up in the 1355, 1357 area. If it gets there today, I'll be real surprised. Should be exciting to see what happens on the open. This is certainly having a positive effect on U.S. banks. Goldman Sachs
Flying.
trading up.
Flying. The European banks, some of them are up. We'll get to them in a second. But the U.S. banks are flying on this $95.80 Goldman's trading. You can argue that it's got a nice double bottom in place from early June. We bottomed right out just above 90. Again, 3 trading sessions ago, we bottomed out that $90.43. So now you could argue that there is this nice double bottom in place. The chart looks much prettier than it did 2 days ago. Trading 95.60 right now. What do you think?
You have the 5-day high of 95.32. I would use that as a swing number if it can hold 95.32. There's really no major resistance up to the $97 level. Below the 95.32 level could get a little bit ugly down, come down to the high from yesterday at 93.52. Even Morgan Stanley is trading up too.
Everybody getting a lift here. We highlighted on the chart there from a few days ago this trend line up at 1450 area. We are going to get dangerously close to there again. And I don't know if it's danger. If you're a shareholder, you're probably happy that it's getting upwards to that upper end of the range again. But this 1450 area here, this has been big for the stock. If I'd expect off the hop, maybe that gives you a little bit of resistance. If it can clear that, it opens up though. So you want to be careful if you're trading this from the short side. Starts to trade 1460, 1470, it opens right up.
Yeah, there was a series of highs there. I mean, practically 4 or 5 highs in a row at that 1450 area. Let's keep an eye on that. That would be your first resistance point. If in fact it can clear that area, we do have some opening up to the $15 level. Coming back on the downside, I'm sure if we come down near the $14 area, that will be excellent support. Not all the European banks are up, though.
Barclays down again. So here you are. Had a terrible day yesterday. Did bounce a little bit, but now they're saying that they may actually have to compensate those guys that they ripped off, those customers they ripped off. So this is why the stock is trading down 30 cents. If there wasn't this headline here, Barclays would probably be up $1, but it's down 30 cents. I don't know. This stock here, this is one that I probably just don't want to own when they don't rally on stuff like this. It's just not a good situation.
Hit 1013 in the pre-market when that news was announced, so you are getting a little bit of a bounce up here to the 1053 area. Looking at it on the charts from the daily, you have resistance at 1096 and then a big gap area in the 11s up to 1203, which was the 2-day low.
Lots of other ones moving up, though. Deutsche Bank is trading higher here this morning after it just barely took out its low of the move. Slightly made a new low on the move yesterday, but bouncing big time this morning. 35.65. It's where it's trading at right now. That is above the high from 2 days ago, which was 35.40. Is getting into a resistance area. There's lots of reference points in here, so I don't think it's going to fly through this whole entire area. Some of these stocks, you almost wonder, because we've seen it so many times, like a yo-yo over there, where they got good news, bad news, good news, bad news. So wouldn't surprise me if we have something happen over the weekend or something happen the next few days, and these stocks actually start to give back some of these gains again.
Yep, keep an eye on the 35.40 level. That was the 2-day high. If it can't hold that 35.40 level, I'd look at to come back and settle, perhaps trade down to 35 and perhaps get down to yesterday's high at 33.93.
Other stocks moving, just to highlight a couple other ones here. Well, RBS actually, they may get fined as well, so it's trading flat. But you do have some other ones like ING, which are trading higher. So most of your European banks are stronger. Just those couple RBS and BCS down, just on the possibility that they may have to pay out some money. Citigroup, let's just talk about that one briefly before moving on. Citigroup here is bouncing solidly in the pre-market on this news as well. 27.15 is where it's trading at right now. Interesting enough, these highs from the last 3 days were 27. I'm just trying to grab it there. 27.22, 27.33, and 27.10. So you've got some formidable resistance this is coming into right in this 27.30 area. If it gets above there, then you have a gap up to the 28. But I don't think it's going to get above that area today. Where's your take here?
Uh, you took the words right out of my mouth, being basically a triple top here at the 27.20 area. We did get a trade up to 27.26 in the pre-market. Buyer beware here in this 27.15, 27.20 area. If it does break there, you do have a gap to fill up to the 27.80 level. But I think we have to see what happens here at 27.25.
Not all bad news today. Nike, or not all good news, I should say, today, but Nike having a bad day here. Nike trading down over 11 bucks here on the chart. Going to bring it up for you right now. Not sure why it's not coming up. 85.47 is where it's trading at right now. Closed at 96.89. The stock is breaking down over 11 bucks. We got to go out to the weeklies to try to find you some support. It's through the 90 area. It's looking. It's kind of hard to find any defined areas in this mid 85s. You get down to 80, you got great support down there, but that's another $5 down. So hard to pick bottoms on this. What's the pre-market low on Nike?
Got an interesting formation with the Nike. It did hit a pre-market low of 83.75.
Okay.
Now you just have kind of the consolidation meandering north kind of formation here. 86.20 has been the high since making that 83.75 low. I would keep an eye on both those levels. If in fact it can break above this 86.25, which has been the recent high, there could be quite a bit of air in the Nike. Coming back down, boy. We're already 2 points above the pre-market low. I'd have to imagine that if you got anywhere near the $84 level, you would find some good support. I think this is all kind of related to the whole Chinese global slowdown, and I guess the Chinese are just not buying as many Nikes as they were last quarter.
Yeah, and a lot of other of your shoe stores are down in sympathy. I know Foot Locker was trading down over $1 last night. It's not down nearly as much right now simply because we've got such a rally in the overall market. But this is one, if this thing opens flat, I'd expect that it may find some selling pressure in it. It is trading at 28.58 right now, which is slightly down. I think this thing got down to 27.5 last night though on those Nike earnings. So Foot Locker, and the chart looks toppy here too. You kind of broke through this $30, which was given a little bit of support the last little while here, and then 30 became resistance. So 30 definitely formidable resistance up there. But now that we're breaking down here, it's starting to open up.
Yeah, that was just a panic trade there at 27.50. What I'd like to alert our listeners to is three of the past four lows between 28.43 and 28.49. That should act as support. If, in fact, that level does not hold, you could take a quick trip down to 27.86. And, of course, you had the pre-market low of 27.50. $88.50.
Under Armour was trading down last night too, actually over I think $4 is getting a it's not quite down as far because we've had such a rally in the market. 88.55 is where it's trading at right now, but this stock here chart looks broken on this one too. We're trading through those couple of lows from mid-May which were 88.60 88.78, so there is not a heck of a lot in here until you get down to that 85 area. Where's this one going?
85.85 has been the low in the pre-market. You're getting a nice bounce off it. What I'd like our listeners to pay attention to is you had about four lows here in this area. Yesterday's low, 89. Then you go back a little bit farther. You had a low at 88.60, 88.78. And then, of course, going back a little bit farther, you had a low right in that $90 area as well. So let's call this now. It was support. Now it's major resistance here at 90. This thing opens up again on the downside to the $85 level. If this gets anywhere back near 90, I think it'll be met with a host of sellers.
One more to highlight, Dick's Sporting Goods is trading down slightly too. When stocks trading down on a day like this, you know it's not good. But that's the same thing. Off the Nike earnings, Dick's is trading down. Joel will find where it traded to last night. But taking out this key 46 support area, we had three lows in this area. Well, I don't know if we're going to take that out today or not, but I would keep an eye on that 46 support. If we do take that out, it's not good, but maybe you get a little bit of support there off the hop.
Yeah, 45.95 is where it touched in the pre-market before recovering over $1, getting back up to 47.12 on the pop. Not a ton of volume associated with this, but that $46 level is huge. You had three of the past four lows right around 46 even and 46.05. That should act as support, but if it breaks through there, you're going to have a little bit of tumble, at least to 45.30 in Dick's Sporting Goods.
Okay, let's pick our listeners back up because we've depressed them with this whole shoe store story here. Constellation Brands, ST Zebra. This stock just had earnings this morning and it is flying, trading 24.5 right now after closing at 21.76. This is really moving here. You've got two highs. If you go back to early April, 24.87 and 24.79. We're only 30 cents away from there. Call this whole area $25. I think you'll find some big institutional sellers probably up there and probably some high frequency resistance in the high 24s. It takes out 25, then it opens up further though.
Yeah, owners of this stock are definitely toasting this morning as the stock is going to do a full acquisition of Crown Imports. I guess it's going to be good for earnings as this thing is popped up to 25.26. Those levels that you mentioned before are going to be excellent resistance, 24.79, 24.87. Just have to keep an eye, see what happens at the whole area up to 25 in the pre-market. Believe it or not, this thing still has some more room on the upside if, in fact, it can clear that area. 26.46 was a high back in October of 2007. Things are looking grim for RIM.
Always. Things are looking always grim for RIM. This is the story every time they announce earnings. The stock just disappoints in new ways. Obviously, stock misses. It was supposed to lose 3 cents. I think it ended up losing 37 cents, so a big miss. More layoffs, delays in their new products. There's nothing good to ever say about this stock. I feel like it's on the road to zero. We've been saying that for the last 2 years, I feel like. But, man, this stock, is it going to bottom here or is it just going to keep going down forever?
I guess my rim apple spread that I put on a while ago is not doing too good, but 7.14 was the low in the pre-market after that news came out. Since hitting 7.14, it has rallied back up to the $8 level, so $8 will be resistance. This is one of the ugliest looking charts I think I've ever seen. This stock, or ever saw. This stock, which was hit a high of 148.13, is now trading at $8. I can't even pick a bottom in it. 7.05 and 7.10 were the lows back in November and December of 2007. 2003.
Got to go to
So
2003 to find support. So we're in 10-year lows on RIM. But I just brought up a monthly chart just for you guys to look at. Here's the road it's been on when we topped at a 148.13 back on June 30th of 2008. So the stock is just a fraction of what it used to be worth. Apple has obviously taken the stock and beaten it to a pulp. I don't think anything's going to turn around here. I think if you're banking on a takeover on this one, you're going to be banking for a while. I mean, they've been talking about, oh, this could be acquired when this thing was back at $40 a share. It's now at 7. So if you get taken over now, oh, maybe you get 10. You just can't bank. You can't buy stocks banking that a bad company might get taken over just because it has a subscriber base. You just cannot bank on that. I can't stress it enough, and I think a lot of people got hurt doing that. And it's, if you think somebody's coming in and buying this for $40, it's never happening. Maybe they buy it, but they're not going to give you much more than $10 if they do. But I don't even think it's going to happen. I don't think this thing's going to get bought.
okay, keep an eye on the $8 level. That's been the high in the pre-market since making that low at 7.15. It looks like Ford's going to put the brakes on overseas production.
Yeah, Ford down a little bit here. It was down more last night. They said they expect greater than expected losses in Europe. So Europe giving them a little bit of trouble as well. But interesting setup on the chart here. Just going to bring it up for you. Interesting setup. So you got a double bottom, you could say, almost in places 991 area. Now we're trading right there, 993. So we start to take that out, which we did last night. We start to take that out. It could start getting ugly here again. Maybe it holds, but this 990 area is critical for the stock to hold. If we do start trading below that, which I think we might, it could get ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, it did hit 984 in the pre-market. Got a few bounces over the $10 level. This $10 level has been huge support for the stock, going all the way back to July of 2010. So I think if this is your opportunity to buy it at 10, buying it that support. Of course, when it's coming out with bad news, it doesn't make you wanna, hop on the train. But Ford here needs to get back and hold that $10 level. Might as well take a look at GM, kind of
Same thing.
moving a little bit in sympathy here, not down as much. You do have a triple bottom here at 1949, 1962. This is the lowest the stock has traded since an IPO had traded lower.
Yeah.
Whew, boy, not a pretty looking chart either. What's going on with these U.S. automakers?
Yeah, same thing. Government's still underwater, and this one hasn't been able to sneak out of their investment. What was the investment? $35? Is that what it was on GM, or was it 32? Where's the taxpayer?
32.
32.
30.
So that's where the taxpayer
Yeah.
breaks even, is up there. Obviously, they were up for a little bit right off the hop, but it's been pretty ugly ever since. I mean, you gotta hold these lows. We made it a low of $19 back. I'm gonna grab it here right now if I can work my mouse a little bit better. 19 back on December 23rd, 2011, and then back in October 1905. I mean, we're 70 cents away from there. I don't think we're getting down there today, but maybe that's where it wants to head. Maybe that's where it wants to test this whole $19 area. That needs to hold. That obviously is critical support for it. But we're 1980 right now. Don't think we'll see that today, but maybe over the course of the next little while we might see that 19 eventually, and that needs to hold.
Well, you don't have to worry about owning this one because Warren Buffett's in it, and he's been buying since 22. So there's a good chance that it will go back up if you're a close follower of Warren Buffett. That one other market mover here, a low price stock, is really making a move here. KB Homes.
Yeah, KB Homes is really popping. We know we had Lennar LEN report the other day, and it was good. Well, you got KB Homes reporting earnings here this morning, and they are good as well. $9.60 it's trading at right now after closing at $8.70. So this stock up almost 10% here on this earnings news, taking out that critical resistance area. 9 had been giving it trouble. It is going to take that out. And then we had this run. So if we go back, we ran down from 13 down to 9 in the course of a few weeks. Now we're starting to get back above that 9. We always say when the stocks move down quickly, they can move up quickly. Now this thing is not going to be back at 13 anytime soon, but this thing could see $10 today.
Yeah, looking at the pre-market activity in this stock, it has gotten a nice boost. Some of the other home builders were moving earlier in the week, so perhaps this one's playing a little bit of catch up. 969 was the high in the pre-market. Looking at the high back on at $10 level was traded at on March 27th, 1008. So if the momentum continues, that should be a major resistance point.
Yeah, so you got lots. It's a risk on day here. You've got lots of your stocks that had been getting beat up, turning around and rallying here this morning. I mean, look at Caterpillar here. This actually got a downgrade today, believe it or not. Raymond James downgrading the stock. 82.63 is where it closed here. 84.30 is where it's trading out right now. So they don't even care that it's downgraded. They're buying it. We were looking here back. Just from, let me just go grab the daily chart here for you. But it's been breaking down here through this whole support area of 86, $85 area. Looks like we might get back up to that $85 area today. So if you believe in the theory that old support becomes new resistance, this $85 area could give it some trouble.
Okay, looking at the cat on the prowl in the pre-market, has made a high at 84.50, has pulled back a little bit, but that gap to fill up to the $85 area should be an interesting play here in the Caterpillar. It looks like this has a lot of room to make up here to if the spoos are going to carry this thing along with it. As we're speaking, the index is making new highs. The euphoria of the deal, another solution to the euro crisis here. So if you're a believer in that, you can hop on the momentum here. Basically, a 40-point rally in the S&P
Crazy.
since
Crazy.
since late yesterday afternoon. Hate to say it, Dennis, I don't see any major resistance in here up to the 1353.55 area. Another high you had at 1357 and a quarter. Be absolutely amazing if the market did get up to that area. Keep a close eye on the opens in your stocks. If they open up and rally up and then come back down to the open, it might be a place that you would want to lock in some profits. Any final comments on the market today?
It's just this ridiculous rally, like 40 points we've basically had, in an hour of real intraday trading because this rally started about 2:30 yesterday afternoon. We haven't even opened today yet, so it's all an overnight move. It's going to be a huge gap on the chart. This thing starts to cave early. I'd be real careful if I'm long it, but maybe it holds up. Here's one thing to keep in mind. We are at the end of the quarter today, June being June 29th. So people they love to window dress on this day. So they will try to drive this market higher here just so the quarter looks decent. Look out on Monday though when the new quarter starts.
Yeah, or so they could try and undress their portfolios too on this pop and try and lock in some profits here because this is a huge move on the last day of the quarter. Well, that's our show for today, folks, and we'll be back with you on Monday.